Morning, Mr. Jones. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
What 3 items would you take to a deserted island?
Deserted island, I would take a fishing rod to catch my lunch. I would take a barbecue to cook my lunch. And I would take a hammock to sleep off after lunch, I think.
What was your favourite subject at school?
My favourite subject was PE, obviously, but also I went to a Welsh school, so we did lots of folk dancing and choir singing. It was all pretty cultural.
Okay, so what's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
That was definitely in Bangkok. I ate fried locusts. They were disgusting, so yeah.
Do you collect anything?
Not anymore, but when I was a child, I used to collect loads and loads of sports programs, so rugby programs, football programs, and they were all the different stats, so I was quite OCD, yeah.
So if you could choose to do anything for a day, anything at all, what would it be?
I think I'd be an F1 rally driver just to feel the speed of the cars. I think it'd be amazing, so yeah.
What's your favourite game or your sport to watch and to play?
To watch and play is rugby sevens, because it's high action stuff, it's easy to understand, it's over in 15 minutes, so loads of rugby in one day, so yeah.
Thanks very much, Mr. Jones. Thanks for your time.
Cool, see you next time. Thanks, bye.
Morning, Mr. Case. How are you?
Morning, how are you?
I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, fire away, fire away.
What 3 things do you think of most each day?
Well, I've got 3 girls that live in the UK, and their names are Mia, Abby and Esme, and I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think of them. So that's 3 things that I think of pretty much every day.
Now, if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
This man has no filter.
What song would you say best sums you up?
Probably Don't Stop Me Now.
Which celebrity would you most like to meet for a cup of coffee?
Oh, that's quite an easy one. Maybe one of the either Kylie or Danny Minogue. I'm partial to either.
And what's the most interesting thing you can see out of your classroom window?
Well, on a good day, the Burj Al Arab is quite a nice view, but not today. Not today.
Thanks very much for your time, Miss Case.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Morning, Mrs. Bailey. How are you?
Hey,
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
that's okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how funny would you say you are?
How funny am I? 1 out of 10, maybe 1.5.
Who inspires you the most?
Who inspires me the most? That is a good question, and I use the word inspire a lot as I'm an art teacher. So David Hockney is one of my favorite artists and writers, but does he inspire me? I mean, who are the people who actually make me want to be a better person? It is my beautiful daughter, my very loving and patient husband, the amazing art teachers I work with, and the students that I teach.
What was your very first job?
What was my first job? When I was 15, I worked as a waitress in a quirky restaurant, a small restaurant in Hong Kong.
If you could join any past or current music group, which one would you want to join?
Can I choose 2? A backing singer for Leonard Cohen and Sgt. Pepper in his Lonely Hearts Club Band.
So, how many languages do you speak?
I'm ashamed to say I only speak 1 language. Unless you count art, it's a visual language.
What's your favourite family holiday tradition then?
My favorite family tradition is going to Ace Hardware, buying the biggest possible Christmas tree, and then taking it home and cutting it in half.
Thank you, Mrs. Bailey.
Thank you.
Hi Emma, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
I'm going to ask a few questions if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So, fill in the blanks. My favourite thing in the world is...
Probably watching people laugh. I find it so cute.
What thoughts instantly make you feel more relaxed?
When I'm stressed, I like to pretend I'm at the beach on summer holidays, away from exams and all that.
What is your favourite combination of colours?
I'll have to say lime green and yellow.
Would you rather give up breakfast, lunch or dinner forever?
Breakfast. I always sleep through breakfast and I find food really boring.
Which day do you consider the true start of the week? Sunday or Monday?
Sunday, definitely.
Would you rather be a master at every musical instrument or fluent in every language in the world?
Fluent in every language in the world and you can speak to everyone. That's really cool.
Thank you, and thanks very much for giving up your time to talk to us today.
No problem.
Hi Jemima, how are you?
Morning. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'd like to ask you a few questions if that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So how do you start your day at school?
Well, I usually start my day by going into my form room and unpacking my bag. Then I usually catch up with a few of my friends.
Little tricky, but who's your favourite teacher in school?
I have lots of really good teachers, but my favourite would probably have to be my maths teacher, Mr. Verma, because he's a really great teacher and always makes our lessons really fun and engaging.
What is your favourite memory at school?
Well, I've had lots of good memories in my first year of DC, but my favourite would probably have to be the Christmas disco because it was really great fun hanging out with my friends.
What's your favourite place on campus?
My favourite place on campus would probably have to be D Block, which is where we are now, because it's really new and bright and airy. But I also really love Mrs. Bailey's art room because there's always something going on in there that's really interesting.
What's your least favourite place on campus?
My least favourite place on campus would probably have to be the staircases once the bell has rung, because it's always very busy and chaotic, and if you're not sure where you're going, you just get swept away in the sea of people.
Who would you say is your hero?
Well, someone I really admire is the Duchess of Cambridge, because last year I raised money for a charity called Place to Be, which is a children's mental health charity which she is the patron of, and she's really raised awareness of the importance of positive mental health.
Thanks so much for giving up your time to talk to us today, Jemima.
Thank you, bye.
Good morning, Mr. Lambert, how are you?
Good morning, I'm very well, thanks.
Do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Does your school have a motto, spoken or unspoken?
Yes, it is work hard, play hard, be neat, be civil and be cooperative.
When did you realise you had leadership potential?
I think when I was 29 years old and I was first appointed as a head of classics at a school in the UK.
So if you could take only 3 things to a desert island, what would they be?
I would take some sun cream, a Bear Grylls survival guide and a spear.
If you had all the money in the world, what would you do all day?
I've actually thought about this question a lot, to be honest, and I think in reality I would probably just carry on doing exactly what I do now every day.
So if you could go back in time, what year would you travel to?
I would travel back to 399 BC to classical Athens.
And if you could go back in time to change one thing, what would it be?
Well, when I'd arrived back in classical Athens, I would make sure that I took part in the trial of the Western world's greatest philosopher, Socrates, to make sure that he wasn't put to death.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Lambert.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
Morning, Eddie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We'd like to ask a few questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you like challenges?
Yes, I'd say that I do. I mean, we grow from them and we become better just by doing challenges.
Are you the shy type or are you outgoing?
I'd say I'm quite outgoing. You know, I like to be myself and, yeah, try.
How do you keep yourself motivated?
I tend to look at my peers and my family and friends and just try to help them. I mean, being helpful to others is quite beneficial, I think, to me.
Can you describe your school in one word?
Oh, I'd say we're quite competitive, but in the best way possible. I mean, we want to be the best, so we do try.
Can you describe your teachers in one word?
Inspirational. I mean, they have so much knowledge and everything, so they just try to teach everything that they have onto us, and it's quite powerful.
How about your classmates?
Supportive, definitely. I mean, they really do try to be there for you no matter what's going on, and that's a really good quality to have with them.
Thanks very much, Eddie.
Thank you.
Morning, Mrs. Hodge.
Morning.
So can I ask you a few questions?
Absolutely.
What's your very favourite place on campus?
Ooh,
Definitely E-Block, the English department. Brilliant people, lots of books. What more could you want?
What's your least favourite place on campus?
I think the exam hall. Lots of anxiety, stress at this time of year.
Who's your hero?
My hero? Shakespeare.
What makes you happy?
Spending time with, quality time with family and friends, people I love.
What motivates you to work hard?
I think a belief that I can make a difference in a student's life.
Which of the 5 senses would you say is your strongest?
My hearing. I've got bionic ears, I can hear students at the back of the classroom.
Thanks, Mrs. Hodge. Have a nice day.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Hi, George. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Do you mind answering a few questions?
Absolutely.
Would you rather live forever in a roller coaster park or in a zoo?
I think I'd rather live forever in a roller coaster park, just because I don't really agree with the idea of zoos.
You're given the option of keeping your name or choosing a new one. What would you choose?
I'll keep my name. I like my name.
If animals could talk, which one would you like to be?
I think I'd like to talk to elephants, just because they're quite old and they've seen a lot.
What's the very best thing about being a student?
The best thing about being a student is being with my friends, seeing my friends every day.
Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I'm a cat person. I've got 2 cats, one called Molly and one called Cupcake.
What's the first thing you do in the morning?
First thing I do in the morning is get dressed, ready for school.
Thank you, George, for giving up your time and answering our questions.
Thank you very much.